another episode of Andersmillknits. I'm your host, Emily, and you can find me on the internet where I am aka Millie on Ravelry, the knitter's social media, if you will, and aka Millie907 on Instagram, where is all the knitter's porn, if you will. That was really in bad taste, Emily. Can we forget that I said that? Hi! Well, it's true! Like, I go on Instagram to look at all the hand knits and things like that, and I'm always like, ooh, like that. Okay, let's say it's knitter's lingerie. That's what we'll do. We also have some groups on Ravelry. One is the AndersMill group. The other is the 24 Days of Cheer group, where if you'll recall, we are running a contest this month where if you are chit-chatting away in our February thread, you have a chance to win one of two skeins, which I forgot to grab before I started recording. 1 second. Okay. I had a long way to go. The first one that you could win is the Alaskan Yarn Company. They're out of Homer, Alaska, and I talked about this in my latest episode of Little Cabin Knits. This is a beautiful skein. It's called Raspberry Schwaps, and it's a 2-ply superwash merino, 437 yards. All I ask you to do is go over to the, I'm going to itch my nose with it, go over to the threads over on the 12 Gift Knit Socks thread and just chat. Talk about whatever you want. Like, talk about how cool Emily is. Also, you can get extra entries by using the hashtag 12GiftKnitSocks on Instagram. Now, the other prize that I have here is from Saras Textured Crafts. And this is, I also mentioned in my latest Little Cabin Knits episode. And this one will go at the end of the month, and when I first record in March, to the lucky winner who that I will choose at random from people who post on Instagram using the hashtags AndersMillKnits and the hashtag Little Cabin Knits. So every time you use those hashtags, you get entered to win this beautiful skein. In addition, you get an extra entry if you go over to the purple icon, the Apple Podcast app, and or if there's another app that you can leave something about Google Podcasts, something like that, that you can leave a review on, just go ahead and leave a review on those platforms talking about Little Cabin Knits. Just say that Emily's forcing you to do it so you have a chance to win a skein of yarn. Otherwise, you wouldn't do this, but because she's twisting your arm, you're doing it. You could do that. Or I'm holding yarn captive until you do it. All right? So, both of those will be drawn the first weeks in March when I podcast next. In March. Okay? Because we still have a couple more podcasts going on in the month of February. All right, so those are those little blurbs. And also, if you can remember to subscribe and also spread the word, spread the loveliness, sprinkle sunshine and fairy dust all over your friends by telling them to go over and watch or listen to Emily. Wow, this sounds super pompous. I am going to stop it now. Because I'm super feeling awkward. So why don't we just get into my week in review, shall we? So I just actually finished recording my audio podcast for Little Cabin Knits on Friday. I think I mentioned in there that recording wasn't going very well. I ended up recording 3 times total. And I feel like the third time was the worst time. Absolutely worst. There was a lot of a lot of stumbling, because I just felt like I'd already said this so many times, and I felt like I was just blathering on. So I kept on trying to edit myself and change things up, and I don't know how those actors do it, but then again, they have scripts. That might be how they do it. Luckily, usually for my video one, it's one take, and there you go. I got it all. Hopefully that'll be the case this time. I'm doing a standing episode this time because I have got a good friend and her little girl coming to stay with me for a couple nights, and so I've already got my click-clack couch down and ready for them, so I just thought, what the hey, I'll just stand for this one. I've also got a new light system going on. See the blue on my hands? And I'm just going to try it out. I don't know if it's going to work. I couldn't figure out how to get the light going above my head so it's below my face, which I think is probably not wise. Look at those shadows. And also look at these shadows. That is not a great shot. But we'll give it a shot. Maybe next time I'll be able to find a way to get my light where I want it. I don't know. I can't figure it out. If I can't figure it out, I can't figure it out. So I have a little bit to talk about, but not much. So on Friday night, my love came into town, and I think we pretty much just went to bed because we were super tired and it was super late. Then Saturday, oh my gosh, guys, I slept in. Oh, it was so marvelous. I slept in until 11 a.m. Oh, I can't remember the last time I did that. Probably the last time I did that, I actually announced it here. And I needed it. Work has been very stressful. Work has been, just, we'll leave it at stressful. But I love what I do. I love it so much. And I needed A, Jeremy, and B, sleep. I got both. Isn't that great? So then on Saturday, oh, I remember what we did on Friday. Hello. Friday night we were over at my girlfriend's house with a couple of other friends, and we did a mindfulness night where I brought over a bunch of things that I collect, like coloring books, adult sticker books, which sounds weird, but is actually really fun. Some dot-to-dot things. Learning how to calligraphy book, learning how to Zen doodle. I think that's the word, Zen doodle. I think book and mandala books and things like that. And everybody just picked what they wanted to do. One friend actually just took the time to go through her bills because she's a busy mom of 4 and she never gets the chance. So that was her mindfulness activity for the evening. But most of us chose to color, and Jeremy colored with me. I'll insert a picture of us probably over here doing it that night. It was really fun. And so then we came home. It was super late that night, and then we went to bed. On Saturday, we went for a walk. I know that, and it was super windy and very cold. Oh, and then we went to dinner. That's about it, honestly. And we had a marvelous dinner. And then we came home and we played dominoes for hours. And technically, I won. I didn't really win, but he said on the last round, winner takes all, and I took all. But if we go by score points, I had over 400 points and he had only about, I want to say 157, something stupid small. And so technically he kind of won if we go by the point system. It drove him insane. I even gave him multiple opportunities to retract it. But he didn't. He just kept on. And then on Sunday, we had one of my friends, actually the friend that's going to stay with me for a couple days, come over, and we had a wonderful lunch. I made gnocchi and red sauce with Cobb salad and melted mozzarella on top, and it was delicious. And then we all, a bunch of friends and I and Jeremy went out to dinner at the same place we went out to dinner on Saturday night. And that was so much fun. I think we were a little too loud, but we just had a rollicking good time. So It was good. And then the next day was Monday, and I was back to work, and Jeremy came and had lunch with me and saw my talking space, which he'd never seen before. And then I had to wish him adieu and get back to work, and he had to drive back to Anchorage so he could be back to his work on Tuesday. However, I am taking off Friday because that is Valentine's Day, and I can't decide if I'm going to chance the roads Thursday night in the dark or wait until Friday morning and start out in the dark, but then have the most treacherous part of the journey, which is the part that's closest to Anchorage, be during the light. And I'm going to go to lunch, hopefully, with my mom and sisters, and then I'm going to make dinner for Jeremy, and we're going to have a slow night, probably play dominoes again. You know us. We have a rollicking good time. We are party animals. We're also middle-aged. So, I guess that's what you call it. I'm almost 40 and he's over 40. I just revealed that, and I'm okay with it. I hated my 20s. I despised my teens. I enjoyed my preteens. But I'm trying to embrace my 30s, especially my late 30s. I'm living life differently than I've ever done before. And so we're seeing how it goes. We'll see. And other than that, it has been a lot of knitting. So why don't we talk about that just a little bit? I talked about it on Little Cabin Knits, but I just want to review it here for just a second. I am attempting to try the Gideon Method of knitting, which means I am knitting for a certain number of hours on each project that I have on a list. And then once I have either A, completed that project, or B, gotten to my hour max, I move on to the next project. That way I can try and be monogamous while also having the opportunity to switch projects, which I personally enjoy, and get things done. Be a little bit more concentrated on things. So this has worked out in my favor. I actually have quite a few finished objects this week. All of them socks. And then I have other socks that I've either started, intend to start, or have worked on. So, honestly, socks. This episode is brought to you by socks. Because I haven't done anything else but knit on socks, literally. So, but I've gotten a lot of progress done on that. So, that's what I'm doing. I picked 5 projects that I am just rotating through. However, there is a caveat. At work, if the project that I am currently working on is not conducive to my working environment, which I did discover this last Friday could happen, then I am allowed to choose one of my less intensive projects, i.e. socks, to work on. And my voice is kind of high-pitched at the moment. So we'll bring it down so I can choose another one of my sock projects to work on at that time. And that's what I'm trying. This does not feel good to my throat. I guess I just have a higher-pitched voice. So why don't we actually just go ahead and talk about and review my notes, the projects that are completed. I have a beautiful basket that usually sits right behind me, right there, full of things. Well, one of them, this one doesn't count because that's something I want to cast on, but this is full of things that I finished. 3 projects. So the first one that I finished is my January socks. I've forgotten the name. Oh, I wrote out I got the Little Birds. And I knit these as ankle socks, pretty much, on Mondim yarn. And this is a rustic wool, colorway 207, and it is 100% Portuguese wool. Does not need any help on the sturdiness, and I love the speckles. See, there you go. Look at that hot pink. and then the softer colors coming through. Oh, it's just lovely. So here is my finished socks. I've got 2 of them, and they are practically identical. I did not the partridge heel. I have partridge heel, but I did a 1x1 rib heel. I did it 2¼ inches down. Then I turned the heel and I decreased for the gusset. And these just flew off my needles. These are most likely for my sister Amy for either her birthday or Christmas, but it is a gift sock. And so I intend to keep it ready and to go for that purpose. The next thing I finished was actually off of, oh no, let's talk about the let's talk about the shame project. So here is the first sock I knit. I've talked about this many times. It's a gradient. I just can't remember the name of the sock yarn anymore. It's one I won't be buying again. But on the foot, I knit a toe up. On the foot, on the top of the foot, every time I changed colors, I would do a purl bump. And that was what I kept my interest. And then after I did the heel, which was the Fish Lips Kiss heel, I did the purl bump all the way around every time I changed colors. And then I picked another random skein of yarn that is this blue, dark blue. That light underneath is kind of giving me troubles right now. And I did a 2x2 rib. Okay, let's talk about the other one, shall we? The other one, toe up. Mind you, I started it the right way, as in the toe was supposed to be in the regular sock, the large skein. And I did it where it was, oops, don't look there yet, where it was the purl bump on top. Then I got to the heel and I just kept going, and I turned the heel still with the regular skein. Once I figured that out, once I was done with the heel, I was like, okay, I cussed a few times because I didn't want to tear it out, and because it was 2 hours of work. So then I went looking for this skein, couldn't find it anywhere. So then I just said, what the hey, I'm just gonna keep it. So kept on knitting then. Just gave up and kept on knitting. Did the purl bump on the front. Did not do the purl bump on the back. No purl bump there, which then made this sock wider than this sock. I will demonstrate. Look! Sorry, I probably just got super loud in your ears. I am not re-knitting these socks. I am done. I don't care if my sister throws them in the garbage at this point. I will give them to her, but I am not looking forward to doing it. And furthermore, this gradient, it looks like this sock is dirty. And this sock is nice and clean. This sock has been around the block a few times. This sock just came off the line. There always has to be one, doesn't there? I always seem to find one project, just one, every single episode that I mess up on, or I just don't like, or looks funky on me, like I'm wearing a big fluffaluffagus thing. Remember the poncho? Yeah. That's alright. I'm still going to give it to her. Luckily, my next pair of socks, which was my first experiment on the Gideon Method, came out smashingly well. So I had cast on, I'm sorry, I'm out of the frame. I had cast on a pair of socks out of Madeline Tosh in the 182 Fresco e Secco colorway, which is a nice forest green. lovely. I absolutely adored knitting with it. And I was doing the Avenue socks by Mina Phillips. And I have 2 completed socks now. Now I could give this to Kurt for Valentine's, but I'm gonna wait. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he'll get them for Valentine's on Friday. I don't know. So it's gorgeous. The stitch definition is just lovely. It's just got a nice little texture thing. It's very manly. See it? That's totally blowing it out. See that? That can be my cover photo, not the I was doing earlier, but I'm an angel. Everything I touch turns to gold and diamonds. Actually, I don't like those things. Turns to, well, we already talked about fairy dust, so unicorns and fairy dust, and little gnomes running through the forest giggle as they pass by. I know, I'm in a weird mood. I just had a really long day at work, and this is my downtime. Plus, I'm trying to hurry because my friend is going to be here soon, and she's got a little girl that is so adorable, and she's going to make noise and tear my little cabin apart, and I'm going to love every second of it. So, these are perfectly matched. I knit them on US size zeros. And I did the fish lips kiss heel. I also knit these from the toe up. And I did a 1x1 twisted rib for about 1.5 inches on the top. And voila, we've got socks for Kurt. Done and done. So that is 3 finished objects. Thank you. I'm very proud of myself as well. And, the other half-finished object is my sock that I forgot at my parents' house. There we go. Maybe I need to turn it down or just off. Maybe it just needs to be off. It is giving me a headache. Maybe this feels better. How's that, guys? Now everything's yellow, but it is getting darker as the moment goes on. I don't know. We shall see. So, this is my Guille de Fera socks. Lana Mia Cotton. That sounds French. These are not French. These are Italiano. I don't know how to do this. So, yarn. We've talked about this before. I love these socks. And during lunch today, this is how far I got. I cast on and knit 6 stitches. While I was in, I've splurged and went to McDonald's today for lunch. That might be why I am giddy like this. I don't know. But needed it. Okay. So I finished that and I cast on the next one. So maybe by the next time I vlog, it'll be done. I don't know. Could be. Now, I did cast on my February edition of the 12 gift knit socks. And this month is done by the Crazy Sock Lady. Uh-oh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to shake, but my sock was stuck. So, see if I've got a picture. I do not on that page. Here we go. So this is called Wild Heart. Those are the beautiful socks I decided to do for this month. And this is the beautiful yarn I decided to use for this month. And this is... I'm here. I totally am here. I'm going to stop getting out of frame. This is Bad Sheep yarn. I think they're up in... does it say? Actually, it doesn't say. Oh, North Pole, Alaska. They're in North Pole, Alaska, just outside of Fairbanks. So it's super cold there right now. And this is called, the colorway is called Rubios Tea. And yep, you see that? Super wash. What you gonna do? It's a gift. But it's gorgeous. The stitches are coming out pretty well on screen. In person, it's not so defined, although the more I do the repeats, I think the more it's coming out. When I first started doing it, I was like, I don't know if this is going to show up on this yarn. These are most likely for my mom for Christmas this coming year. So I decided yet again I really, really liked the shorty socks that I just finished. And so I decided to do shorty socks again. Shorter socks, not short E, because there's about maybe 3.5 inches of leg, and then we go into the fish lips kiss heel. And I'm keeping track of how many repeats I do on the leg before I do the heel, and how many repeats I do on the foot before I do the toe. And everything is going to be in this color. There's no changing up on alternating heels and toes. I just thought this skein is gorgeous. Why mess with a beautiful, beautiful thing? That is actually more accurate right there. So why don't I turn off that thing altogether? And there we go. That's actually the color. That's even a little washed out. I think it's because of the yellow in the room. Notice yellow, yellow, yellow. We've talked about this. We've talked about this multiple times. Yellow is my life. Yellow. One last thing that I am knitting on is a pair of socks for my mom. These were her Christmas presents. You know what I did? I mean, not her Christmas present, her birthday present, which is only 3 days after Christmas. I gave her the skeins of yarn and said, hey, guess what? I'm knitting you socks. I just haven't started yet. I am on the feet. These are also shorties. Can you tell I'm enjoying the shorties? This is a sport weight yarn, and I've turned the heels on both. I'm knitting them 2 at a time. Look at that beautiful color going on. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? So gorgeous. And the heels are done, and so now I'm on the feet, and luckily my mommy has teeny tiny feet, so this is gonna go fast. But look at my needle. My needle does not like to cooperate. But enough. See, that's what it does every time, and it keeps getting tangled up in my skeins of yarn. So I'm knitting it with two balls, 1 ball per 2 balls. I didn't say that. Go on with your dirty mind. Get out of here. I'm knitting it with 2 skeins of yarn caked up. Ha! Gotcha. 1 cake per sock. Okay? And that's how we're keeping it straight. And the yarn that is not it. Here we go. The yarn is Plymouth Yarn Company Happy Feet, 90% superwash merino and 10% nylon in the colorway 10. And we don't need to know the lots number. Oh my gosh, that wasn't even on the screen. There you go. Why isn't it focusing? That's weird. Huh. I tried, guys. Anyway, so I've had these skeins of yarn for years. I got them from Far North Yarn Company. I've had them for years. And I think it was last year or the year before, Mom went through my yarn and she picked out a basket full of yarn. And I've already knit her a few things out of here. That's why it's dwindling, of skeins that she wants me to knit for her. So this one here is Wild. Oh my gosh, I love these people. I love these people. Wild and Moon Rover yarn sock. Moon Rover sock. And this is Brayburn. Brayburn? Colorway? This is approximately 420 yards. Superwash merino. So this is not going to be socks. Although my mom is very gentle on her socks. But I think this would look really good as like a cowl for my mom. Actually, I don't know that she would wear a cowl because that might mess up her hair getting it on and off. So I might have to rethink that. But something, maybe some gloves. Maybe I'll actually knit my mom some gloves or some fingerless mitts. I don't know. Actually, I've knit her fingerless mitts and she's never worn them. So, one last thing. I remembered that I had this gorgeous skein of yarn from Fiber Nymph Yarn Company. Fiber Nymph Yarn Company. What is going on with me? No, I'm sorry. It's Fiber Nymph Dye Works. And I've had this colorway for a couple years now. It's called Star Trekkie. And it's all the colors of the different uniforms in self-striping. And my fella, he's a Star Trekkie. He's a Trekkie. And so I've decided that I'm going to cast these on because I finished 3 pairs of socks. And my other rule was, oops, I'm going to stop doing that. My other rule is that I couldn't cast on a new project unless I had finished 2 projects. So I've done that and more. And so I get to cast on some socks for him. Yep, this episode was brought to you by socks. That's for dang sure. I don't have anything new. I haven't bought anything. I'm trying not to buy anything until my birthday in July. As far as yarn goes, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to see if I could do it, you know? I have a lot of yarn. I get made fun of a lot because of how much yarn I have. People always comment on it. It makes me feel sad. They don't understand my obsession. It's okay. They don't have to. But I just kind of want to knit on what I love already. What I have in my stash. Finish up projects. You know, concentrate on using things that I've already purchased so I know that I'm going to love it. And just go to town on that. So that's going to be my go-to thing. So the last segment that I've been doing on this one sometimes is I've talked a little bit about mental health. So I want to give another public announcement that a therapist friend of mine, Haley, and I will be starting another audio podcast. This one is all about mental health. And we're not going to go into details and tell people stories about mental health and survivalness here and there and, you know, how to deal with depression, those kinds of things. No, what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on coping skills. Why coping skills? These are things that we all utilize, or sometimes we forget we have and don't utilize them, and we have negative coping skills in our normal life. So for instance, I'm going to take myself personally. I was super depressed and stressed, and when I get stressed, I eat. And I was starting to eat a lot of sugar, which was obviously horrible since I have diabetes. And once I started eating sugar, my brain started going haywire on that sugar and told my body, oh my gosh, we need sugar now. And so it started avalanching. So I would eat more and more sugar. And then I would have these downs and these crashes, and then I would never feel motivated, and so on and so forth. So my coping skill turned into a negative coping skill, which then turned into my something that harmed me in the end. Okay? It's the same with people who drink alcohol, for instance. A glass of wine after work to wind down, or, a joint at bedtime to help you relax and go to sleep. So we know now that the effects of smoking a joint isn't actually seen until a couple days later. So yes, in the moment you're going to feel that relaxation and it's going to soothe your body. Or if you're wanting and you're getting the right type of marijuana, it's going to like get you the peppiness up and help you concentrate in that time. However, days later, your anxiety will come back, and it will come back a tiny bit with a little bit more of an edge. Just a tiny bit. And so then you're going to go and you're going to seek for another joint to soothe yourself to get to sleep. And then you're soon going to find that you're doing it every night. Just a puff or two, just so you can go to sleep, right? But then it becomes habitual, and then it becomes a handicap. Same thing can happen. Now, I'm not saying this happens to everyone. The effects happen to everyone, as in like the 2 days later, the edge, you get the little edge. But not everyone goes to the extremes, okay? I want to caveat this. And the same with having a glass of wine after work. It can lead to 1.5 glasses, 2 glasses, 3, a whole bottle, and before you know it, you're a functioning alcoholic. I'm going a little extreme on my examples, but I'm trying to get a point across. So one of the main things that a therapist does is teach coping skills, mental health and mindfulness coping skills, so that you don't rely on these things. You don't rely on sugar. You don't rely on alcohol. You don't rely on the marijuana, the joint, to get you to sleep. Okay? So, not everybody goes to a therapist. Not everybody feels comfortable with that. This is just, by the way, this is just one of many things that we as therapists do. One of many. But it's also one of the most important things that we do. Because if you're having a panic attack, if you're feeling anxious, nervous, pretend that you have a moment where you need to speak in front of an audience, right? And everybody tells you, imagine everyone naked. Guess what? That's a coping skill, because imagining everyone naked relieves your nervousness, kind of gives you a little bit of a giggle, and then you kind of can swagger out there, right? And you got this. You can do that speech. Well, similarly, other coping skills can help you as well. Such things as belly breathing, meditation, a skill we call 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, counting back from 100, stretching, body scans, imagery. I mean, that's just off the top of my head, just right now. Calling a friend, journaling. Journaling's a big thing with me. I like that. There's so many skills that we can learn and incorporate, and not all of them will work for you as the individual. So what I've decided is that I would like to present a coping skill probably once, so put out a podcast twice a month. I'm hoping. I don't really know what Haley's schedule is, but, and each time we're going to focus on one coping skill. We're going to teach it. We're going to talk about how it can be used in normal life. We can talk about maybe a personal experience of ours, and then we're going to guide you through it, which is part of the teaching. So, and we don't have a name for it yet. So, we'll figure that part out. But I want to challenge you right now to think about the coping skills that you use from day to day. Are they positive? Do you go and when you're feeling anxious, give your loved ones a hug, pet a dog, go for a walk, eat a carrot instead of a Kit Kat like I did today? You know? Or do you do something that's a little bit more negative, like eat a Kit Kat like I did today? I want you to just I want to challenge you to just kind of think about that. And you know, let's comment about these things below here, okay? And let's just see what everybody's using. Earlier this week, I actually posted on Instagram and Facebook because that was last week, I'm sorry. Because I was having an anger moment and I needed to calm down because I needed to go and do something important. So I was doing some coping skills on my own, and it got me to wondering what other people are doing. So I posted that and asked, and we got a lot of good comments. Some more joking than others, you know. But, joking is also a coping skill. It's deflecting. It's a defensive mechanism. Just like everything else I've just mentioned, So I'm just kind of curious what you guys use as coping skills. All right? Well, that brings us to the end of our episode. Thank you so much for joining me yet again. I love taking the time to chat with you guys, show you what I'm working on, maybe see what you're working on if you comment on it below. Hint, hint. And, just spending this time with you guys is just quality. Even when I'm a little rambunctious like I am today. Maybe it's because I'm standing the whole time. I don't know. Could be. I also feel like I'm talking a bit fast. Could be. I don't know. We shall see. But I would like to remind you all to knit what you love and love what you knit. Ta-ta for now.